Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to the latest Meet the Brand webinar, part of the Independent Gyms webinar series. This week, we're chatting with Simon Rand, who's heading up an initiative called Doing Our Bit. Doing Our Bit, I found out about this early last year. It's been a little bit of not slow, but I've been doing work on a few bits, and we're finally sort of going to market. It's a bit different to a regular product. Simon's going to explain a lot more, but essentially this is linking in with NHS sites around the UK. I see it as a big opportunity to open up what you do to a wider audience, sell a few memberships, sell some PT, but there's a much bigger sort of benefit for the NHS staff as part of this. So that's my funboard introduction. I'm going to hand over to Simon. He's going to tell you all about Doing Our Bit.
Thank you, Rob. And obviously, thank you everyone for joining in today. Obviously, it's been a long road getting to where we are, but obviously we're at our launch stage now. For some people that we've met at various shows, obviously you may have heard the story, but Doing Our Bit actually was born 4 years ago in the very first lockdown. It was one of these ideas that came about, and within 3 or 4 days, some tech guys have put something quick together. And it was really a project to enable NHS staff that were at home, we're becoming fairly inactive, given an opportunity to do some exercise at home, mental well-being, etc. Obviously, 3-4 months later, things calmed down a little bit, and obviously the world tried to get some kind of back to normal. But what didn't change was the conversations with the NHS. What happened last year in particular was that there was a huge push being driven from the top down to encourage more and more staff to take, I suppose, collective responsibility for wellness, health, well-being, etc. And obviously, we've been in conversations along that point to help as a tool in the armory. So at the moment, the NHS across the whole of the UK and the care sector have invested thousands and thousands and thousands on new staff and teams to try and stimulate more wellbeing activity. Obviously, it's early days, okay, but what they're lacking is some real punch in terms of connection with the community, i.e., with people like yourselves that provide health and fitness to the community. Okay, and obviously on the other side of it, some way of monitoring and measuring how well they're doing. So obviously what Doing Our Bit has done, and we've been working quite hard over the last year really to get this right from them, but also to tick a few boxes in terms of what the NHS will expect, what our providers and our supporters are going to expect as well. But in essence, what we are, is we're a tool that's been designed to engage community, to create a marketplace, to enable people who provide fitness and well-being to people that are looking for fitness and well-being. That's essentially what it is. Almost like an Amazon. People need to buy a pair of scissors. They've got scissors on the shelf. We've got people who want to buy, and they put it all together. It's obviously aimed at the whole industry. Okay, so it's NHS and social care. So this is something that changed a lot last year. It was only aimed at the NHS initially. Social care also makes it a lot more interesting because suddenly, instead of looking for maybe 1.7 million people, we're now going after around 4 million people. The app is an app-based system. Okay, it's going to be free to download. Every single person who downloads it has to be verified as a member of the NHS or the care sector. So it's either driven through their NHS email address or through employee ID or through HR, verifying them on the portal before they're even allowed to download. So we did that for 2 reasons. One, because obviously we need to create a community that is for NHS and social care, but also because the partners we're working with, i.e. yourselves, that are donating some times, we want to encourage quality and make sure that obviously the audience that you're looking after is actually from this sector. So, so it's connecting the dots, and obviously we're having to use tech to do that. We've obviously gone beyond just doing on-demand workouts. So, we're really trying to, this time round, be a lot more engaged in terms of face-to-face. So we're obviously looking at the PTs, fitness instructors, gym instructors, swimming instructors, whatever it may be, to actually see these people and help them on their journey. That's a big part of this is, we're trying to stimulate an audience here that the NHS recognises probably needed to be a bit more active in the past. Is a politically correct way of putting it. The benefit for the NHS, some of you may be aware of the stats, but some of you may not, and it may shock some of you. But just last year alone, there was 27 million sick days in the NHS. And a lot of those, as we know from in this sector, are preventable. So obviously anything that we can do, okay, that supports the NHS and helps obviously create a healthy workforce, actually in turn benefits all of us. Yeah. So this is why we call it Doing Our Bit. It's everybody's doing their bit to help each other. So rather than let a government minister tell us what to do, why don't we all just take some collective control and try and empower these people now? Cool.
So move along.
Yeah, let's move along. I think I may
Yeah.
have covered the next slide already. Who was it
I was
for?
going to say, I forgot to say, just fire off when
Don't
you
worry, don't worry. So I say I've been conservative. There's over 3 million people, and there's actually over 4 million people in the sector. You know, I mean, this will extend to GPs. It's a huge network of people, and there's a good percentage of those people that have never ever probably stepped foot in a gym, probably never been a member of a gym, and maybe not even done classes. So you know, there's a huge audience there that's going to be under some pressure from from their employers to go and start doing some more things. The next slide, Rob.
Yeah.
So how does it work? So very simple. Okay, from a provider's point of view, well, it's actually from a subscriber's point of view, the users, they download the app for free. They're obviously verified as being workers. They can then navigate when they're in the app. So how it works is really simple: is that if they were looking for, I don't know, some aquarobics or some Pilates or Zumba or maybe even a mental well-being, you know, they'll start with their filters. So you know, maybe on demand, it may be in person, and then they'll work their way through. What obviously we want to create is a schedule. So we see ourselves really from the industry's point of view as a time management piece of software and a time management marketplace. We want to try and create as many times as possible. And the beauty of the NHS is because they're not strictly 9-to-5ers, they're very much shift workers. You know, we're looking to to try and spread times out. You know, over times where really the industry is less busy. You know, we know that there's a huge demand for health and fitness between 5 and 7 p.m. when everyone finishes work, but maybe less so at 11 a.m. or 2 p.m. But actually, there's many workers who are available at these times, and maybe even Saturdays, Sundays, where some of you may choose to work, some of you may not. You know, so we're really trying to connect some dots here and try and create some demand in areas of low supply. So that's it's very simple. It really is. I suppose what I'm trying to get across is, from an app point of view, we've tried to make it as simple as Uber. You know, I need to go somewhere. Well, we found someone that can do that for you. Let's get you guys together. So the next slide. Why do we do it this way? Okay, so there's been over the last 25 years, there's been 1,000 ways of how to get people into gyms and classes, etc. To mention, we've kind of worked this from the other angle. You know, we've been engaging very heavily with the NHS staff, and actually, what we've listened to is probably 1,000 reasons of why they shouldn't do health and fitness. You know, okay, you know, maybe because they got kids, their work doesn't allow, or maybe they don't feel it's accessible, they don't feel whatever it may be. So what we really tried to do here is try and understand, you know, the users better, and then obviously try and encourage them along the journey. So rather than having their wellbeing manager saying you must do this because, you know, HR's told us that you're having too many days off, trying to say to them, hey, look, you know, let's get you out. Here's some fun sessions. There's other people in the workforce doing it. Let's take away let's give you some choice. So maybe you don't like doing that, but hey, look, you probably never even thought about this. We've even got somebody in Scotland list a laughing yoga session. Crazy, but it seems to be it's working quite well. People are booking it. We know these people are time poor, which is why we're looking at the flexibility. You know, we're trying to get people in there, you know, at times that other people may think are a bit odd. We want by the juggling work-life balancing, by making this app-based, we're trying to take that issue away from them. You know, so even if they're in the car stuck in traffic, they can open the app, have a look, and actually maybe go somewhere instead of going home. And then obviously by creating this real community and the feeling that they're not the only person in the team that's actually going out doing this, it should help with their confidence as well. But obviously the big part of this and the in-person is really you guys. You know, you guys are the ones that are going to be, you know, the ones welcoming these people with open arms, introduce them to something that they've probably never done before, educating them in a way maybe they've never been educated, and then encouraging them, you know, to come back and do more. And that's, you know, I suppose, you know, from your point of view, that's really how we see this. This is, you know, it's a lead generation tool technically in its pure business sense. Is, you know, we're providing many people that are going to be new to this space, and obviously for you guys, offer them an amazing experience and convert them into a paying customer.
Next slide.
So next slide, please. Yep.
Yeah.
I'm going to log on my machine as well here. Okay, so as I probably kind of covered that off there, because we know what the main barriers are, and by creating the app in the way that we've done, we've tried to stop the barriers, okay, and take as many of them away. we're never going to get 100%. We know that we're not naive. Okay. But obviously even 10% into 4 million is 400,000. And that is a huge audience that not many people can boast, and even if we only reach 10%, that will make us the #1 app in the UK this year. No doubt about it. And there's a huge PR juggernaut then that will follow behind that. Especially in an election year as well. The NHS, you're going to see in the media every day because it's such a powerful tool for politics, but it's such a powerful tool for the health and wellness industry as well, because there's a huge section of the market that's always been disengaged, and this is a great way of trying to get them engaged now.
Yeah, definitely. Excellent.
So to get involved for yourselves, okay, again, what we're trying to do, this is, it's called doing our bit. So what we're not trying to do is say, hey, look, everybody's doing their bit, but you guys, we need to make some money. You guys need to cough up. So this is, doing our bit is a charitable organization. Nobody's making any money at all out of this. So our users are using it for free. Our NHS trust and care providers are signing up for free and sharing with their staff. And obviously our supporters, our sponsors, all of our people that are championing this are joining for free as well. So if you're running a gym at the moment in the middle of Northampton or Glasgow, wherever you may be, okay, you can join our campaign free of charge. Okay, you'll get all the publicity that goes with that and the PR. Okay, but all we're asking in return is that you give us some times. So if you've got a Zumba class at 11 o'clock on Tuesday morning for 20 people and you're only ever getting 15 in there, we'll post 2 or 3 onto the app, okay, and we'll make sure that you get some new customers to come along and use them. There can be different times. We're going to give you the ability to, to book schedules 3 months in advance. You'll be able to also, we're going to give you your own online portal. So it's not just an app for consumer. There will be a web app, as it were, so to use on your browsers. For you to manage your diary. You'll be able to post class, as I said, 3 months in advance, but then you'll still be able to manage holidays, etc. as well. So there'll be a lot of flexibility. Okay, and obviously you'll also receive notifications. So if people are booking classes with you, for next Tuesday or the Tuesday after, you'll have emails, but you'll also be able to just log into the portal and see all the classes and see how many people have booked, see the names, so you know who to expect. Once those people have been there, I mean, obviously in the early days, you won't know these people, but once these people have been at least once, we then open up their whole record to you. So you've got all the contact details of all the customers. So within the system, you'll be building your own database. Now, obviously, depending on how you operate your business, whether you're a one-man business or whether you're a 12-man team, you've got your own marketing, you're all going to do it your own way. But that data will be available to you. And obviously, it's your data to do as you wish. Obviously, all we ask is that you treat these people respectfully as you would within your own policies and standards anyway. But to set up is really simple. We'll actually send a link to Rob to share with everyone in the network. Because obviously Rob wants to see how many people are engaging as well. We know from the last few shows that we've done that there's a huge amount of interest out there. So obviously come one, come all. Everybody's welcome. Okay, let's get you all in there. Let's get you posting classes. I think the only thing that we'll say at the moment is just to set some expectations is we haven't gone live with the whole NHS UK and Care Sector UK overnight because 4 million people is a huge outreach campaign. So we've been rolling out in phases. So that out of the 440 trusts, we've got 37 signed up at the moment in the first few weeks. They're rolling out to their staff now. So we're quite well populated in Manchester, Birmingham, Southampton, Bristol, West Country. I've done very well, but we're also rolling out to other parts. And so if you find that you've joined us and you maybe didn't see anything, feel free obviously to contact us and we'll let you know the trusts that are coming on board. But we're really looking at a 3 to 12 month J curve of onboarding of these trusts. And obviously they've also got that own wave internally of getting staff members to download the app and creating this thing. It's one of those things that we get to December this year, we all go, wow, I can't believe how fast it's growing now. But obviously in the early stages, we're gonna have that inertia to start with. So that's all I say is don't expect miracles overnight, but our aim is to get to perfection and to get to a huge audience. It's just going to take a little time.
Yeah. Excuse me. There's one more slide, but my laptop isn't playing ball for some reason.
No, it's one slide. So what
contact, isn't it?
Yeah. The last slide's contact. There's one last slide just before that. FAQs. obviously over the last few months, I've not just been speaking to NHS Trust, because I've been right at the forefront. I'm kind of like the tip of the spearhead with this campaign. So I'm talking to everybody, gym providers, PTs, counsellors. We've got all kinds of services getting involved. This is not just fitness. This is mental health. We're even offering dementia prevention, slowdown, techniques and brain exercise. There's so much content that's going to be in this. Really, I suppose for me, there's 3 common questions that came about. I've put them in here as well now. So, for example, the first one always is, well, if I've got access to a schedule and I can add products, is there a maximum or a minimum number I have to put in? The answer to that is no. You can put in your whole diary if you like. Our advice at the moment is to say, please don't. Not that we don't want to, this is not a competition to who's the most generous, because I'm sure everybody's going to be very generous in offering sometimes. But actually what we don't want to do is we don't want to create an app that's flooded with too much time for free. We want to create some sense of urgency. So as app users come on and see things, they might see something now saying there's 2 spaces there, but an hour later they're gone. We want to try and create this sense of, this fear that they're going to miss out. Unless obviously they act upon their instincts quickly, and actually don't just go into the app, actually do things, start making bookings, start going along. So there is that, and also the other reason why is because commercially as well from you guys, we don't, we are very, very I suppose very humbled at the amount of people that are donating times to us, towards this campaign. Yes, it's for the greater good, but equally, we'll feel much better about ourselves, okay, a year later when people say, hey, look, my business does more revenue now because of this campaign. So part of that as well is that if we all work together by not, absolutely flooding the app with too many free classes, we want to give these people a good reason saying, hey, look, you've had 2 classes for free. You're enjoying it. You can't get another one for free because it's never available. Why don't you just start paying for it? It's only going to cost you X. Well, let's do that. And obviously further down the campaign, we'd like to get involved in that kind of upsell activity with you guys. But at the moment, this is all about showing the NHS how powerful the tool can be, actually creating some activity. So, next question that comes up is the flexibility of the schedule. It's very flexible. We've built it with lots of, I suppose, dynamics in there. So, for example, if you wanted to post classes for the next 12 weeks, you can. You can change the types of classes. You can change the times every week. You can have weeks where you don't offer any classes because you maybe got people on holiday. So we really are offered a lot, but you have full control over it. We don't have any, okay, we just give you the tools to do the job. We have full support built into, there's a support section in the software where you can obviously go and see frequently asked, but if you need help, obviously we have a dedicated support team that can look after you. And also if you find that either you're not getting enough traffic, etc., come let us know, because obviously we will do everything we can to shout about you and make sure the trusts are promoting you as well. And then obviously the final question, it's the obvious one, is what's the catch? No one does anything for free. Well, this is, okay, Doing Our Bit is looking to become funded through sponsorship. So we are already in talks with people like Sainsbury's and various other people that will be, obviously they see an app with a very large audience. They're obviously interested. Now, obviously for us, there's going to be various rules attached to that, because this has got to be about well-being and health and just general, the whole, it's got to be fully in ethos of what we're doing. So, but obviously these people will pay to do that, and that's obviously will help support this campaign, and then obviously help take it to much more higher levels in the next few years. But for you guys, are there any hidden costs? No. If you join, you pay us nothing. If you want to post your classes, you pay us nothing. Okay. If you start upselling to these people and start creating the revenue for yourselves, you don't need to pay us anything. This has been built for everybody. We obviously just need to find ways to monetize it in the future, and the sponsorship is the most obvious angle. And that's it. Obviously, if anyone's got any other questions, you obviously can contact us. A direct email to me actually is admin@doingourbit.org.uk. It's on the end of this presentation, which I know Rob will share with everybody, as well as the video for today. But obviously, if anyone's got any questions now, obviously I'm very happy to answer.
Yeah, I think that's it's quite comprehensive. So let's just summarize quickly. So essentially, Doing Our Bit has an audience of long term up to 4 million people working in the NHS and social care. We're looking for gyms that can offer up time, either sessions in their classes that they run or a couple of dedicated sessions that is available for the 4 million people to potentially book into. It drives people into your physical premises. So gym owners will see new visitors, NHS employees come into their site for complimentary classes. But for me, from the commercial side, from a greedy perspective, from a gym owner, it's a way of lead generation, infilling your studios, and then upselling to a membership or personal training or day passes later. So really simple, just for an exchange for what could potentially be just some quiet classes that you're already running, and we open up a handful of spaces in those classes for the NHS guys to get involved in.
Absolutely.
Yeah, nice and simple. So I think, I mean, that was the end. Literally, I think you've covered everything for me. There's no cost to it. As the trust come on board, the audience will grow. We've got those hot spots that you mentioned. I think you've mentioned Birmingham, Manchester, Bristol. So there's hot spots at the minute, but as over the next 12 months, more and more NHS trusts will on board and open up the audience further. So I think the only thing to say is we will get Simon's email address up once my computer plays ball, and reach out to Simon if you want some more information. There will be at our conferences in the summer and obviously the winter, a little bit, some time to go for that though, so don't wait until then. Drop Simon an email or give him a call and get on board.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you, Rob.
Thanks for tuning in, guys, and we will see you on the next one.
Thank you.